Welcome back to another video. My name is Aaron and I help people expand their consciousness. Now in this video, what I'm going to be doing is sharing with you a couple of the key ideas around manifestation that has totally changed my life. Now these are going to be things that I've realized both from personal experience, also things I've recognized in other people that have really changed other people's lives too when they made these little changes. They started to do things just a little bit different. And that's sometimes what it is. Sometimes we think that what we need to do is we need to change our life in so many different ways, but all we really have to do is just kind of modify it a little bit. And if we modify it just a tad, then we get all the changes in the world. So one of the first ones for me was understanding this about desire and how desire can actually be a good thing if we are using it to then take action or to then turn into intention. So the difference between desire and intention is a desire is a feeling that we have to move in a certain direction. Intention is when you decide that that is something you're going to accomplish or something that you're going to start to move in the direction of. So in a way, you could say that you could be sitting in a boat and you could have a desire to go over there. You could have that desire, but that desire remains stagnant. But the moment you put up intention, you put an intention to go in a certain direction, that's the moment you put up the sail and then you allow the rest of the wind to carry you in the direction that you want. So that for me is understanding that idea, and it's a little bit counterintuitive because normally in the law of attraction community we hear that desire is such a good thing. Desire is a good thing if it gets you to take action, but if it just remains a desire, then that's where it remains, because a lot of times also what desire does is desire makes us stay in the feeling that we don't currently have what we want. So in a way, think of this like it's just simply reaffirming the resonance of having a desire is saying, I don't currently have what I want, therefore I hope that it comes into my life experience. But remember, what makes it important, or not important, we'll talk about that in a minute. What makes it powerful is when we translate that from desire and into intention, and intention is where the power really is. So set more intentions. You know, something I've been doing recently is every morning I have a lot more visualization for the way I want my day to go. And I do that right when I wake up in the morning. I do that right before I go to bed at night. And all I do is I simply set that intention and I set that desire. And in a way, it kind of pre-paves me, because then as I go through my daily experience, it's like things just happen easier. It's like almost, those are probable experiences, right? So as I'm going to bed at night, I visualize myself filming a video the next morning, it going really well. I visualize myself going through different experiences where I go to the gym and I have an amazing workout, and I imagine myself talking to people and connecting with people. And it's almost like by thinking about it the night before and setting that intention, I then go throughout my day and it's like it just goes in that direction anyways. It's almost like it just kind of falls into that slot. So I think that that's called pre-paving. And it prepaves the subconscious mind. It just prepaves the experiences in general. I found it works amazing, but remember, it's not just the desire, it's translating the desire into an intention as well. So for me, yeah, I would say that making something more of an intention is very powerful. Now, one of the other things I've realized when it comes to manifestation, creating what I want in life, is that the more important I make something, the more I distance myself from it. Now, this is kind of what's called reality transurfing. It's the powerful manifestation process that I talked about a lot. And it has to do, it's like kind of like a new way for seeing the world, but it's just understanding the balance of energy. So anytime we are saying, I really, really hope this happens, we're opening ourselves up for resistance. And then if it doesn't happen the way we think it should, then we feel that resistance and it becomes a negative experience. And anytime we make something very important, we immediately separate ourselves from it, because then what we do is we put it on a pedestal. You say maybe your intention is to, attract a relationship into your life, and you're saying, oh, if I were to do that, it would be amazing, and I hope it's, then you get all these desires for it, and as you focus on it, once again, the desire, you focus on it not being here, and as it's important, it's on a pedestal, it's further away. So think about this in the form of self-image. This is what I do. To decrease importance, I see it as a natural part of the process for me to be achieving what I want. So it's like almost if there's a certain goal I have It's not so much that I goal myself over there because I hope it happens. It'd be really, really cool if it did happen. It's more so I see it as natural for me to accomplish it because I've had all these goals in the past that I set myself out to do, and I accomplished them, so why wouldn't I accomplish this as well? So I set the intention, and that intention is void of excess importance, which means it's not an imbalance of energy, which then increases the probability of it actually happening. So that's kind of the way that I view it. But to do this, link up your self-image with the way that you prefer to be. So what this means is be aware of what your self-image is. Maybe if you view yourself right now as not worthy of making a certain amount of money per year, then the importance on that goal will always be up there, because wouldn't it be so cool to be making that amount per month or that amount per year? But wouldn't it be so cool is not a perspective of the self-image you want. The perspective of the self-image you want, or that you are naturally, would be more so, I make this much per year because it's a natural part of who I am. So to do that, the best way to do it is just to start to see yourself as already there and to take action from that place. You may realize that if you do that, you start to get natural inclinations to do it. You may start to realize that you get certain inspirations to go do somewhere, to go somewhere, and then you just so happen to meet the right person. Follow your intuition, your guidance as well, because that, I think, is something that people leave out a lot. You know, we think that it's all about the action we take. And action is cool. Action's important. When I started my YouTube channel, that was the main thing I talked about. It was like, take a lot of action, because I was rewarded for it. You know, I started taking a lot of action on YouTube and I started getting a lot of results. So I was like, action, action, action. I still think action is powerful because I love what I do. I take so much action. It'd be hypocritical if I was like, oh, action's not a part of the process. It's a part of the process, but when you apply it with your passion, with an energy underneath it, it is so much more powerful than you could possibly imagine. So that for me is also one of the game changers, because when I did that, everything in my life changed. If you want also to learn more about how you can raise the feeling, because when you raise your vibration and you start to come at it from that level of consciousness, you manifest things so much easier, so much quicker. So what I did is I created a free guided meditation that will help you to create what you want from a higher level of energy, to understand how you can raise your vibrational set point to where you feel better a majority of the time. That's something I did years ago. That's why I made a meditation for it. And that meditation is absolutely free. You can download it in the top of the description box below, and it will help you to create what you want easier than ever. So what is another thing that I've been applying in my life? The other one, this is one for about 2 or 3 weeks I've been applying. It has to do with what is called the power of the heart, the electromagnetic energy around the heart. And when we start to connect to the energy of the heart, there is just so much power there. Now, normally I was one that was mainly just focused on the intellectual ideas. I was focused on how could we get to this new type of perspective? How could I go beyond? Because I was always wanting to make the coolest video on YouTube that like kind of blew people's minds. But what I'm realizing is more powerful than just the intellectual stuff. You want to know what that is? It's just simply being from the feeling more from the heart. Now, this is what the Heart Math Institute has shown, and this is something I've been sharing a lot, but I think it's just so powerful, so I share it. It's the electromagnetic energy around our body. So we think normally that this is who I am, right? This physical stuff is my body. There's actually an electromagnetic energy, a toroidal field that goes around our heart and around our head. Now, what they've shown is that the electromagnetic energy around our heart is thousands of times more powerful than that of the head. And normally we're creating from our thoughts, right? We're visualizing things, we're hoping they happen. But that's why unless we put the feeling underneath it, we don't actually really experience it, because the feeling is where the power is. So what we can then decide to do is to more so put our awareness just simply in the heart. That's what the Heart Math Institute has shown, that if we just simply put the awareness inside of the heart, put our focus there, even right now, we can do it together. Put the awareness on your heart center. As you do this, what you do is the more focus you put on your heart center, the more energy goes within it. And then what you do is you increase the probability, you increase the energy going out of your body, and you start to experience more of what you want in your life. You also become more authentic to who you are. So right now, if you want, do this with me. Just put the awareness. You can even put your hand over your heart. And just be aware that as you do that, you can feel the energy inside of your heart. And even now, as you do that, maybe you just feel the warmth from your hand, whatever it is. But the more you practice this, the more you put the energy and the awareness inside of your heart, the more you're growing that electromagnetic energy around your body. The more you're growing that expansion around you, and that starts to ripple out into every area of your life. So that's why it's so important to become aware of not just the thought process, not just the visualization, but how you feel. And if you do this for 5 or 10 minutes a day, I promise you, you're going to start to feel different. People are going to start to respond to you differently because you're going to start to more so exist from within the heart. Have you ever been around someone that just has such contagious energy? Maybe they're just so enthusiastic. Maybe they were just speaking from their heart, or maybe they just had a stronger connection with their heart in that moment. It's something you can tap into as well. I'm not saying I'm special. I'm not saying anyone's special. All of us have the ability to connect with our heart center. And when we do connect with our heart center, we create things in our life in such a more powerful way. And all we got to do is for 5 minutes a day, put the awareness in our heart. What you could do, something I've been doing, is when I wake up in the morning, for a minute or two, I'll lay in bed and I'll put my hands over my heart and I'll just feel that energy. Because I start my day off in that way, and I find it ripples throughout the rest of my day. You like how I rhyme there? I also will then meditate for about 10-15 minutes. And when I meditate, I also focus on the feeling. Something I used to do a little bit, now I do it a lot more because I think it is that powerful. So realize you're always experiencing a reflection of who you are being, and you're experiencing a reflection of your energy field. Increase your energy field by increasing the focus in your heart center, and you will start to create more amazing things in your life. Focus on the connection. Focus on your heart center in general, and things are going to start to change for you. That's something that's changed my life. So those 3 things have profoundly changed my life, and I think they can change your life too if you apply them. For me, for a lot of people, it's not even that you need to completely pile on some completely new philosophy or idea. It's just doing things a little bit differently. Maybe if you're already visualizing, put more of the awareness inside the heart. If you're already focused on your desires, instead of just focusing on your desires, see it as natural for you to be achieving what you want because it's a part of your self-image. Just kind of link up a couple of those little things, and I think it'll make all the difference in the world. So another thing I'll be doing is more live Q&As on Instagram. So if you want to interact with me, ask me questions, go ahead and follow me on Instagram as well. I will go ahead and link it over here or link it over here. And other than that, as always, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy it, feel free to like this video. If you liked it, subscribe if you haven't already. Maybe also hit the notification bell so you can get the daily uploads that I do. That's the way YouTube does things now, is you actually have to push that button to see the daily uploads. And other than that, as always, see you on the next vid. Peace, much love, and namaste.